Hey everybody, this is going to be a review and testing of the Athearn Genesis ES44AC early GEVO. This model was released in July of 2013. So just like all my other reviews, we'll do a 360 overview of the detail. We will weigh it, push-pull test, look at the lighting and the sound, and then just a general wrap-up. So let's get started and have a look at the detail on this model. So as you can see, guys, this model has a ton of detail. There's really not much I need to talk about. It's a really well detailed model. The only thing that I could see that was kind of a grievance with me is the windows on the engineer's side. There you can see the windows on this side are fogged a little bit, but really that's the only thing I could pick out. Like, this model has a ton of detail on it. It looks really nice, very well done. So let's move on, let's put it on the scale and see what it weighs in at. So weighs in at 581 grams. That's 20.52 ounces for those of you on the Imperial. So that's a good weight, nice and heavy. That's up there with the Cato SD90 43 Mac. Okay guys, so the next thing we'll do is hook it up to my digital push-pull meter, and we'll see how much pulling and pushing power it has. I always do 3 tests and then take an average of the 3. So that was 90 grams pulling on the first test. That's pretty good, actually. $90 again. And 85 grams there. So pulling, that's an average of 88 grams of pulling force, which is right up there with the heaviest locomotives like the Cato. Very good for pulling capacity. Let's flip it around and try the push test. $85 grams on the first one. $85 again. And 85, so that's 3 tests, 85 grams. So that's pushing capability of 85 grams, which is 2.99 ounces, so 3 ounces of pushing, which is very good as well. Alright, let's go back down and have a listen to the sound and have a look at the lighting on this locomotive. So I think just about everybody and their dog has heard the Soundtrack Tsunami decoders and what they sound like. Most of the time it just relies on what speaker they put in it and how big the enclosure is and how well it's done. So this Locomotive, I have to tell you, the sound, it was offensively loud. Like, it was so loud when it came out of the box. I had to turn it down a lot using JMRI. So I turned the prime mover way down, had to turn everything way down. The only thing, like, all the sounds are great. It's really loud, so good job by Athearn. That, what you heard there was the sound turned down like 2/3 pretty much all around for everything. So good job on the sound by Athearn. Let's have a look at some of the lighting now. So there's the front end lighting. The ditch lights and headlight are individually controlled. Ditch lights are on function 5. They look nice and bright, kind of head on like that, and I got no complaints with that. The camera actually picks it up better than they are. So they are the old rice bulbs. Honestly, they don't look too bad. Head on, they look fine. Tip to the side, they're kind of dim. My main grievance with them is that they're going to burn out eventually. And I hate that I have to rip apart a ready-to-run Locomotive like this, and it's inevitable that the lighting will burn out. So that kind of sucks. Athearn needs to get with the times and start putting LEDs in these. The Sunny White 603s or the 402s, that's the way to go. They look awesome and they will never burn out, which is a huge selling feature for me. So lighting's not too bad for now until it burns out, but they do look alright. Let's have a look at the rear headlight. So again, doesn't look too bad. Head on, they look alright. They're not they're nice and bright, but to the side they look kind of dim. And again, they're the rice bulbs, so eventually they're going to burn out, so that really sucks. So really, that's my only knock against this Locomotive, is the lighting that Athearn chooses to put in them. Okay guys, I'll take it off the track now, and we'll just kind of do a summary of this Locomotive. Okay guys, just to wrap it up, this ES44AC made by Athearn Genesis, very nice model. Like, it's right up there with some of the best. Probably one of the better ones released in the last year. So I give it an overall score of 8.3 out of 10. So detail, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Like, there's not much more they could add to this as far as detail goes. There's probably a few things, but it's pretty good. So I gave it a 9 out of 10. So in the operation drivetrain category, I gave it a 9 out of 10. That's based on its pulling and pushing capabilities, which are really good. They're right up there, like I say, with the heaviest cattle locomotive that I have. Its slow speed is really good. It's a smooth runner, and overall it's a good runner. So I give it a 9 out of 10 for that. So for weight, I also gave it a 9 out of 10 because it's right up there with my Kato. Slightly less heavy than a Kato ST90 43 Mac, which is super heavy locomotive. This thing is right up there. Sound, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. The sound is really loud. I still think there's some room for improvement on Soundtrax's part. Just the quality of the sound file, and I mean, just over and over again using the same sound file. So I think there's still room for improvement there. But as far as like the level, the volume on this thing, it's really good. So I give it an 8.5 out of 10 for that. Lighting was the only kind of issue I had with this Locomotive. I gave it a 6 out of 10. And that's just because they're using those rice bulbs. And not because they look bad, but just because they're going to burn out eventually, especially if you put lots of hours on it. Like if you're doing op sessions at a club, or you're doing Fremo or something, you're having lots of hours where those bulbs are on, they're going to wear out. They're going to burn out, and you're going to have to take it apart. And they're not that easy to pull out either. Like, they glue them right in there, so sometimes you'll rip the ditch light housing off trying to get them out. It's just a pain in the rear. So 6 out of 10 for lighting. And that gives it an overall score of 8.3 out of 10, which is one of the highest scores I've ever given during these reviews. DCC and Sound MSRP is $299.98, and the DC only version is $199.98. So paying another $100 for DCC and Sound. So I've done the full write up there in the video info, guys. If you just scroll down, all this information is typed out, and you can have a look at it. All the different road names and road numbers that were released, like the pricing and my my rating system is all listed down below. Alright guys, that'll do it for this review of the Athearn Genesis ES44AC early GEVO. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.